Hello friends, this is tutorial number 72 in this C++ programming language course. In this tutorial we will talk about destructors and virtual destructor. And we have here simple hello world project. And you saw already when I create a class, I usually don't create a destructor or virtual destructor, and now I will explain you how it works. Let's create one simple class. Let's create a class. The name of the class will be car, and it will have only a destructor. We will not use, we still will not use virtual destructor. I will explain you later. And let me see here. As you can see, you have a constructor here as always, but we have a destructor. It's a similar like a constructor, but we have here a tilde sign. This is a destructor of the class car. And now we will not have any fields or private, public. We will just define our constructor and destructor. For constructor we will print something, creating a car. Just one simple sentence. And this when we create some object, this constructor of course will be invoked, and we will have this message when create an object. And we will define a destructor. For example, it will be destroying a car. The destructor will be vice versa. This destructor will be invoked when we are destroying an object. For example, we will creating an object car, we will allocate it in the memory. And when we don't need this object anymore, we will delete it from the memory, and this message will be in the output. The destructor will be invoked. But first, before I forgot to include IOStream and namespace standard. I will just copy it in the CPP file. And I will also copy this namespace standard. We will use it in the header file. Now let's go to the main file, and let's include a class car. We will delete this hello world message, and let's create one object, car. We will call it C1 equals to new car. And I forgot a pointer. Now if we run this program, we will have a message creating a car, which is our constructor, as you can see. And for example, we don't need this object anymore, we just want to delete it from the memory. We will delete C1. We don't need this object anymore, we are deleting it from the memory. And when we delete this object from the memory, the constructor will be invoked, and will be destructor will be invoked and will be run. Now when we have this when we delete this object from the memory, now if we build and run, we will have a Destructor also. We are creating a car, which is the constructor, and here is the message of the Destructor: destroying a car, which is our Destructor. I can just use /n to separate it a little. And let's run again. As you can see, we have our constructor creating a car, and we also have a Destructor destroying a car, which should be simple. And now I want to use inheritance. We will just create one class, and we want to extend this class car. Let's create a class. The name of the class will be Toyota. And it will also have just a Destructor. Will not be a virtual. Let's create our class. And also we can use IO stream here. And we will use namespace standard in our CPP file. And we will also use namespace standard, and also here in the car CPP we need to include Toyota, and here in the Toyota header file we need to include class car, and also we need to extend a class car here. Okay, it's a simple inheritance. As you can see, we have our constructor Toyota, and also we have a Destructor Toyota, and now we will define it in our CPP file. Now we need to write an inheritance car, and let's define our constructor. We'll just write creating a Toyota. And we can use /n to separate it a little. And also we will define our Destructor, which will be destroying a Toyota. It should be enough. I use just these simple sentences to explain you shortly, but very well. And now we don't need this car anymore. We can create now a Toyota object, but before creating Toyota object we need to include Toyota header file. And now let's create an object Toyota T1 with pointer will be equals to new Toyota. And now we will run this. As you can see, we have we have creating a car which is a constructor, because a car is our base class and Toyota extending a class car, and we have invoked a constructor from the base class which is creating a car, and we have invoked a constructor of the derived class, of course, creating a Toyota. And now, if we delete this object T1 from the memory, we will delete T1, and we will have destructor of the base class and destructor of the derived class will be invoked. As you can see, we have creating a car, creating a Toyota. It is a constructor of the base and the constructor of the derived class. But now we have destroying a Toyota, which is a destructor of the derived class, and of course we have a destructor of the base class destroying a car. We don't need this anymore, we delete it from the memory, and the destructor of the base and of the derived class is invoked. But we can have a case of the inheritance. I can delete this. And case of the polymorphism, we will create object car. Will be C1 with pointer will be equals to new Toyota. And it will be the same. We are creating object a car, we will allocate it in the memory, but it will be a new Toyota. And this means it will be the same. If we run, the both constructor of the base and of the derived class will be invoked, and we will have a message creating a car and creating a Toyota, which is okay. But now we will delete this car from the memory, we will delete C1. But in this case, object is a car, but which is Toyota, but only the destructor of the base class will be invoked. As you can see, we have creating a car, creating a Toyota, but when we delete this object from the memory, only a destructor of the base class was invoked. And now you will ask me, but where is the destructor of the derived class? And now we are coming here. In order, when we have a case of the polymorphism and we want to invoke both destructor of the base and of the derived class, the destructor should be virtual. Now, in the class car we have this destructor, and now how this destructor can be virtual? It's simple. We will just write here virtual. And when we are creating a class, we also can also create by default this destructor as virtual, but I wanted first to show you what is the simple destructor and what is the virtual destructor. Now this destructor is virtual, and now when we it's a similar like we have in the classes when we have a virtual functions. It's a similar. Now we have a car object which is a Toyota, and we allocate this object to the memory, and now we are deleting this object from the memory, and now and the destructor of the car is a virtual, and in this case both destructors will be invoked. Now we will build and run this. As you can see, and here it is. Here is a destructor of the derived class, destroying a Toyota, and we have a destructor of the base class, destroying a Toyota and destroying a car, which is a destructor of the base class. And I really hope that you are understanding this. And when we want, I will explain you once more, when we want to invoke both destructors of based and derived class, the destructor in the base class should be virtual. Okay, and I really hope that you understand this. And I really hope that you like this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on the Instagram. You have a link in the description. And I will see you in the next tutorial.